Morning, everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Review morning briefing. It is Wednesday, the 31st of July. I'm Derek Clark, and I'm joined this morning by Stevie Clifford. How's it going, Stevie?
Good, mate. Good. I've been ready to go all morning, Derek. You know, I was getting some criticism yesterday for my timekeeping on Rangers Review, so I've been ready to log on since about 8:20. So, yeah, I am good. Oh, the dog's just joined me. So,
class. Morning, Ali.
Yeah, we are good, mate, and ready to go.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. I'm also ready to go. I got to meet, you'll like this, Stevie. Got to meet Scott Arfield for the first time last night. I know you've met him before, but top guy. Had a good chat about Rangers and the season ahead. And we will get a proper sit down with him, folks, for the Rangers Review at some point in the future. But good to see him last night. He played last night for Goldson, of course, and was on top form. But cracking guy, Steve, isn't he?
Yeah, Scotty is an unbelievable guy. I done a sit down with him at Rhino Express with Jim and Mando over there. Our sponsors, and it's on our YouTube channel. It's absolutely brilliant. Scotty is a top guy. He actually said, Derek, that my interview I done with him was one of the best he's ever done, and he thoroughly enjoyed it. So, and he's kept in contact. So, no pressure, mate, when you get him. You know what I mean? So, great guy. Actually, one of these guys that when you have him, you don't realise just how good he is. So, yeah. We miss a Scott Arfield popping up from midfield, that's for sure. I actually just seen a clip of the first game of the season a couple of years ago under Gio when he popped up with a header at Livingston.
I watched that. What a goal that was, Stephen.
Yeah, it was absolutely. Sorry, Derek. You know what? I haven't set off my snooze alarm. I've got about 20 of them set this morning, just so that I'm on time. But it was some goal, wasn't it? The header from I think Kent's cross, and then the header, and then Tav popped up with that free kick just a couple of minutes later. But no, Scotty, listen, he's got some great stories. Really, really good guy as well. Really nice guy, and somebody I've got a lot of time for. So when you speak to somebody, Derek, as you know yourself, when you're doing kind of fan media or whatever, you know, sometimes it can be difficult. But Scott Arfield was genuinely one of the nicest guys, and when he messaged me afterwards and all that, it was brilliant. So no, a lot of time for Scotty, and I'll be following him at Bolton, that's for sure.
Yep, I was telling him all about the show as well, Stevie, so I'd imagine he's tuning in this morning. So if you are, Scotty, then good to have you on board, but I'm sure he tunes in anyway. But just before we get stuck into the Rangers news, just a quick word for our podcast sponsors. MPH Boilers, you know the drill, folks. If your boiler is on the blink, then these are the guys to call. They're the family-run business, award-winning, covering all of mainland Scotland, and they've got those brilliant Viessmann boilers on offer. Right, before we get stuck into murmurings and rumours and speculation, Connor Goldson officially departed yesterday morning. We spoke about it on the show when I was on with Chris. He's joined Aris Limassol on a 3-year deal, ending his 6-year stay at Rangers. He took to social media. He's not been on social media, but he wanted to put out a sort of open letter message to Rangers, and I'll just read to you, folks. It says, "Thank you, Glasgow Rangers. The time has come. It's my time to get off the train and the ride that we have been on together for the past 6 years. This is really hard to write, but I think it is the right time to write it. What a 6 years it has been, and what a pleasure it was to be a part of this amazing football club. We went through many highs and many lows together, but throughout the journey, I can promise you that I gave this club everything I had. I tried to lead by example every single day, and I walked into the building and strived to make the football club a better place than when I signed. It wasn't perfect, and neither was I. I can honestly sit here and look myself in the mirror and say I gave it my all, and nobody cared more. From Ufa away and getting the club back into European football to a Europa League final, helping return the club to the Champions League, the league title, both cups. Do I sit here and wish we had one more together? Of course, but I also sit here grateful for the memories we shared together, and it's something that I don't think will ever be able to be beaten. I'm only back on social media to share this message with you, as I haven't been able to properly say goodbye. It hurts that this is the way it has to be, as it's never been my way. I never wanted to be liked for my posts on social media, and maybe being private and not speaking much with the media detached me a little, but never for one moment think I didn't appreciate the fan base and all the support you have given me in the last 6 years. All I wanted to be judged for was what I did on the pitch and nothing else. Thank you to my managers. The trust you have always shown in me from the day I walked through the door, and the connections we made will always be remembered. To my teammates, there have been many, but it's been a pleasure to share that dressing room with you. The laughter, the friendships that I've made, and the memories will last a lifetime. To all the staff in the club, thank you. You've always made me feel at home and got me through many difficult moments. I have met some of the best men and women who would give their life to this football club, and I've done everything in my time to help me and my family. Thank you to my family, my wife and my boys for going through this journey with me. I know it wasn't easy to live with, but we shared days and nights at this club that we wouldn't have thought were even possible. Rangers Football Club will always have a place in my heart. I will always follow and I will always cheer, because when you have been part of this special club, I don't think it ever leaves you. And he rounded off with saying thank you and the best of luck for the future. That is a very classy message, Stevie.
Yeah, it was a nice message, wasn't it? And it's probably the most he spoke in his time here, because, as he said, he wasn't the most vocal or didn't speak very much. But you know what? Good on him, and he goes with my thanks for his efforts over the last 6 years. You can say what you want about performance levels, about mistakes he made, and everything else, but he was a big part of taking us from the very bottom up to being champions, European final and things like that. He was absolutely incredible actually on that run. So, he goes with my thanks. And listen, Derek, I'm not going to sit and be two-faced about it. I think it is time, as much as I think it's time for another half a dozen more that are still there. It was the right time for Connor. So that doesn't mean that you can't think that, but also be very thankful and wish him all the best for going on to pastures new. So, I've heard a lot said about him in the last 24 hours, but one thing for sure, he always gave his best, and just recently his best hasn't been quite where he once set his own standards, and that's because, of the incredible standards he did set himself, and because of the amount of games and things he's played. So, best move for everyone, I think, Derek, and I honestly wish him all the best, and hopefully him and his family have a good time over there and kind of enjoy the sunshine and a bit less stressed and obviously what they went through the last couple of years being at Rangers. So good on him, and hopefully he does well over there.
Yep, I think the time was right for a parting of the ways. Chris said yesterday, though, Stevie, that Rangers have probably lost their best centre half. Would you agree with that? And how important is it Rangers bring in another centre half before Saturday? Is that important for you? I know you've spoke before about the central defenders that are there at the moment, that they're good enough to get by. They do have a mistake in them. A tad apprehensive. You said you were relaxed last week with regards to the transfer business. Is that still the case as we speak on Wednesday morning?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, absolutely, I am. Do you know what, Derek? Things are slow. I think we know that, but moving Sam Lammers on, moving Connor Goldson on are big exits on a lot of money. That's automatically saved the club in the best part of almost 75 grand a week. So it's a lot of money. And you think about Connor Goldson departure, getting in the price that Chris talked about yesterday, getting in that kind of money. But for the 2 years he had left, you've saved on the best part of between £3.5 and £4 million of wages.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal for Rangers. And Sam Lammers, we were kind of stuck with the amount of money he was bringing in. He's now gone as well, and we've recouped more or less all of his fee thanks to him, having a bit of a renaissance in the last 6 months over in Holland. There's a few more bodies need to go out the door, Derek, and I think it's fair to say another 4 to 6 need to go out. But I'm really pleased with Cerny coming in. I think that's the standard we need, and I think we need another 4 or 5 of them to come into the first team. I'm quite relaxed about the business we've done. I think it's fine. I think it's some good squad kind of players, and I don't expect any of them to kind of burst the seams. Cortez will do well, Connor Barron will do well, Liam Kelly will do fine, stuff like that. But I don't expect many of them really to make the huge title kind of changes, if that makes sense. I think those first team players are still to come, hopefully, and that's what I would want. So yeah, I'm quite relaxed on where we are. I think business will happen in the coming weeks. So I'm feel all right about that. With regards to centre half and going back to your original point before the point, yeah, we definitely need somebody to replace Connor Goldson. Listen, I think we need 2 centre halves. Bluntly, I would be looking to move on Ben Davis. I'd be looking to move on Ben Davis for the last year. And that might upset people, but I think Ben Davis is very neat. I think he's very tidy, but I don't think he's got the stature that we need to be a centre half. So I would move him on. I would have moved him on before Connor Goldson if I had the opportunity, but football doesn't work like that, does it? So yeah, I'm looking to bring in definitely a replacement for Connor Goldson. And if we can move on another, then yeah, I would be looking to strengthen again. I think John Souttar's fine. I think John Souttar's got a mistake in him. I think Leon Balogun's quite dependable, also got a mistake in him. But I feel that they two would be fine. You would have Nsiala and King, who could provide further backup. But I think we need a starter, if not a couple of first-choice starters. Remember when we went and signed Hollander? We need another signing of that calibre, where maybe without the fact that he can't play as many games as Hollander, but the same kind of stature and ability. Because when Hollander did come in, you've seen the best out of Goldson in that as well. So that's the kind of signing we need to go and try and make. Obviously missed out on Jose Cordoba. He might have been that kind of partner. But yeah, there's definite work to be done at centre-back, Derek, but there's definitely work to be done at midfield. There's definitely work to be done in the 10. There's definitely work to be done up front. There's maybe another winger to bring in. So, you know, there's plenty of things to do there. And if we're thinking that the one in, one out information is right, which I think it is, then, you know, 2 have left. And there's maybe room for another one to come in with Cerny already being here. So I'm hopeful that we might see some movement quite quickly.
Yeah, Weesty Boy says we need a Basil Bowley type. I was very excited when Big Basil signed back in the day. It didn't really work out for him at Rangers.
Did it? So
no. But yeah, what a player he was. Yeah, I know what you mean, buddy.
Sorry, Derek.
Yep.
See, on that point about Basil Bowley, and I can understand, like, you want the fanfare of a European winner and all that. Basil Bowley would probably cost you about 25 million in these day and age, so we're never going to get him just for Walter to stick him at right back. But they were the good old days, weren't they? But what we actually need to do is find a Carlos Cuellar, find a Philip Hollander, find a Buguera, somebody like that you can bring in for 2 million.
Walter was good at that, Stevie. He knew a centre half, and he's seen one. Ugo Ehog was another one he brought in. God rest his soul, and done a job, didn't he? Davy Weir was another. He could spot a centre half.
We need to find somebody that's not going to cost £6 million, somebody that's sitting there that we can get for £1.5, £2 million, well within our kind of budget, and make him, you know, what we really need to be. So it's a difficult ask. Listen, I'm not sitting here saying these things are easy. I don't think they are easy, because if they were easy, we would have found them by now. But that's what you're hoping that Niels Copping can bring. You're hoping that that's the type of player we can find. So we have been linked with a few in the last couple of days, actually. I've heard some different names in the last couple of days. So maybe there's things happening. So we just have to wait and see what happens with that, Derek. But there's definite work to be done there. I think that's definitely obvious. On the point of me saying that the centre-backs are fine, I think that Ben Davies and John Souttar should be able to handle the majority of domestic stuff we get thrown at us. And I think that's fair. I think that when you go to the more difficult places, then it's a bit more trickier. And I understand that completely. This isn't me saying, you know, they're fine and they can last the whole season. It's not. You would expect them to deal with the majority of what we deal with, especially, you know, especially home games, or at least, you know, Hampden home games, or home games when we do go back to Ibrox, you know what I mean? But I would expect them to be able to handle the most of it, but I wouldn't be comfortable with a John Souttar, Ben Davies partnership, for example, going to Parkhead, because we've seen in the past that hasn't worked. So that's where I am with it. It'll do short term, but long term, medium long term, yeah, definitely need some improvements in there.
As you know, we're live on Instagram as well, folks. Lots of comments come in there just on Goldson. The Volley London says, on his day was a colossus, but was the right time to go. All the best. Connor on centre-back situation. James Matheson says, spot on, been using the Hollander Cuellar point for weeks. And Stephen Marsh says, ball-winning centre-half required too lightweight at the back. I came in for a bit of stick yesterday when I suggested I would be tempted to play Balogun and Enciala at the back against Hearts at the weekend. And folk were giving me a bit of stick, shall we say, about throwing in Clinton Enciala. But listen, I think he's good enough, I think, to go there. I was pretty impressed with him at Birmingham City. I know he's a baby in footballing terms, but I think it's an area, Stevie, like you, Rangers do need to strengthen. They need to bring in at least one centre-half. Whether they get them in before the Champions League registration deadline tomorrow remains to be seen. I'm not entirely sure if they will be able to do that or not. But just on NCL, I've got some support there. Aldo says, play the lad simple. JDS also, I agree with you, Derek. That is my shout too. Would you go with that? Slip of the tongue there. Sure you're back for it at Tynecastle if the game's tomorrow, Stevie?
Redvan, Sterling, Davis, Suter. In front of Liam Kelly. Only kidding. Jack Butland. No, listen. I liked what I saw of Enciala, right? However, and bear in mind, Derek, that I'm not an expert. I can only say what I thought I saw. I'm just a fan like everybody else. I don't do the whole tactical side of it. But I thought he was very good at clearing the ball. Very good at being no-nonsense type centre-back. Just clear your lines. Good at blocking. Made a couple of good defensive tackles and things like that. But what I didn't like about him was I thought he was quite rash in his positioning. There was a lot of times he surged out to get the ball. And there was a lot of times he kind of pushed on in positions where I wasn't really just stay, hold your position, hold the line, etc. But there was a couple of times he forced it out and chased the ball. And basically when he done that, I got played in behind him and things like that. So I don't think that Tynecastle would be the right thing to do. But that's only my opinion. If he did get thrown in, then, fine, great, we'll get behind him and things like that. But it wouldn't be where I would go first, Derek. So, I mean, that's only... And I'm not saying, please don't let that be misconstrued with I'm writing him off or anything like that. I just think that it's a bit early to be throwing this young lad in. I did see a lot of things that are encouraging, and early rounds in the cup and stuff like that are where I would want to kind of showcase the boy and give him his opportunity. But Saturday, as much as I've criticised and don't think they're a great partnership or don't think they're good enough, you would still go with the tried and tested partnership of Davis and Suter, wouldn't you? So that's where I am with it. Balogun obviously could come in next to John. Suter would more or less be where I am, but I'm just thinking more in the manager's head that Ben Davies has seemed to play most of the pre-season, and he does like his left-sidedness. But if Balogun could start next to Suter, I'd just be as happy with that as well. So it is what it is. You never know what can happen over the next couple of days, so we'll just need to wait and see.
Yep, I'll get to this point because Buns has kindly donated to the channel watching from down under. I'd love to get your take on this, Stevie. I cannot wait to see your reaction here. He says, evening from Melbourne, lads. Would we be satisfied with Fleck, McKenna, Shankland and a winger if nobody else was to leave? I think... the Shankland one won't go away, Stevie, of course. I think... would Rangers be improved with Lawrence Shankland in the front line? Probably. Again, it would depend on Fee and whether Clement feels that he is the man to lead the line for Rangers. The other two, I know that John Fleck has been training at the Rangers Training Centre. It would be a surprise to see a move, I think, given his injury history of late. Although he did have a good spell at Sheffield United, has been struggling with injuries recently. Scott McKenna, I think, I know your point, your view on that one. This is my view on it. If he's available for a free on a decent wage for Rangers that would work for Rangers, then I would be bringing him in. But we can agree to disagree. What would you make of that point, Stevie?
I need to stop becoming a meme on this show, Derek. So would I be satisfied with them? Then the answer is no. I think the continuing links to Lawrence Shankland are easy, and I think that if there was a real desire to do that, it probably would have been done in January or before now, because it's a very obvious signing. I know there's been some posturing from Hearts, and leaks, and we want this and we want that, but the truth is, in 12 months' time, he'll walk away for nothing. So if you were to put in a fair to middling bid, 1.5, maybe, you would get him, I think, more or less. So I think if that one was going to be done, perhaps it would have been done already. You never rule these things out. As for McKenna, I've been vocal on that one before. Good player, good centre half. In normal circumstances, you would like it, but I would worry that you would have another Michael Howard squad-like situation. I'm not sure how dedicated to Rangers he would be. And I think that if there was a choice between us and our rivals, he wouldn't even look in our direction. So,
Celtic are said to be interested as well, according to people that you hear from. But I think, I can see
that's my reservation, Derek, with that. So, with regards to John Fleck, John's a great guy, great boy, really good player at times. Lasted 17 minutes in his Blackburn debut, and he's said to be really struggling with injuries. Do I really want a James MacArthur type where he's sitting for 4 years on a big massive contract, and we are going, why have we done this again? No, I really don't. So we've just let Ryan Jack go for very similar reasons. Would we then go and get John Fleck? I really don't think so. So would I be happy with that business? The answer is no, because I think that none of those guys are the first team level, really, improving wise, that we really, really need. I'm looking for Cerny levels of players coming in, Derek. And I realise, look, it's not easy, I get it. But some of the names we've linked with are a step up from those boys that were just mentioned. So would I be happy with it? Honestly, no. But that's not a criticism of the point or anything like that. I get it. And maybe if you'd asked, would they be decent squad additions or whatever, possibly. But that's a different addition to the quality I think we really need, Derek. And I think, look, see, honestly, you can piece that squad together, right? That 11 together for Saturday and stuff like that. And it might be fine. You might get away with it. But you've got 4 or 5 starters, maybe 6 starters in there that you can base that team around. You need to put quality around them to have any chance. You've got Redvan, you've got Sterling, you've got Butland, you've got Diamandi, you've got Cortez, you've got Cerny. You know what I mean? Then you're looking at what else can I put in there that is quality enough levels. You know what I mean? That you can get away with. So you can maybe sign 2 or 3 more and get away with Dessers. You can maybe sign 2 or 3 more and get away with Tom Lawrence. But I don't think you can go with a spine of team that's made up of, Davis, Lawrence, Dessers, etc., etc. I don't think that works necessarily in the long run over a season. It might work individual games and stuff like that. And I'm not criticising these boys for their levels. I'm just saying that if we really want to be where we are, the transfer business needs to go up one more, and you need to bring in a level of players like a Cerny, like a Diamandi. We need to try and find that level. If you can unearth that, then football can change really, really quickly. And I think at the moment it looks pretty fairly grim, and we need these players in. But 3-4 signings in 2 or 3 weeks, and the whole landscape of football looks completely different. So we need to hold on to that. And I do think, Derek, that there's a lot of work going into it. I think there's money there to be spent. I think it's just a matter of trimming this squad down. And when that does happen, I think we'll be okay.
Let's get to this comment from Adam. He says, can Stevie clear up his cryptic tweet last night? Read this morning that we have agreed terms with Hannibal. This was the boy, the faceless ranger last night, Stevie's directing a message at your good self saying, can you start following a random player on Instagram again, please? And you just put the wee emoji soon, a wee smiley face. But Hannibal is someone that has been linked. Man United looking to sell him in the final year of his contract. We've discussed him, I think, last week, Stevie, I think it was. Rangers said to be keen on bringing him to Ibrox. Can you see that one happening?
So on the tweet thing, Derek, last Monday, I think, possibly, we knew that the Cerny deal was happening, and I happened to follow him on Instagram, and immediately, within a wee while, a can't remember how quickly it was, but that boy found it on and put it all up on Twitter, and it blew up and it went everywhere. And my response was just a simple thing to that, was like, soon will we happy face. So I don't have notifications on or anything on Twitter because the timeline's so busy and that, so I'm not aware of it kind of blown up or whatever, but that's all it was. In terms of Hannibal, I think I spoke about him before, didn't I? Actually spoke about him on the Monday after we played Man United and said I was pretty impressed with him and the space he managed to pick up and his range of passing and the bit of aggression he had in there. I would be slightly troubled by the fact he went to Sevilla and had a bit of a poor loan spell, didn't he? Yep. He seemed to fall out with the manager. He seemed to kind of have a ropey spell there. Is there a discipline issue? I'm not so sure. But these are the kind of deals that we'll need to do and possibly take a risk on. If it's a deal that works for Rangers, would I go and spend $6 million on him? I'm not so sure. But if there's a deal to be done there that kind of suits us while you're left and things like that, then I would be looking to explore that one, absolutely. I think he's a good player. I think it's about providing him an environment and a right kind of platform to flourish. Would I take him, Derek, as a 10 next to Diamande, next to Cortez, next to Cerny? I think I would, and I think I'd be quite happy with that. So if there's a deal there to be done, I welcome that. And it would be interesting, to see how that one turns out and flourishes. So definitely interested in how that develops, that's for sure.
Yeah, watch this space, I think, with regards to that.
Definitely a watch this space moment. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. CF3 Loyal, just when we talked about Cerny there, Stevie says, do you think Cerny is ready to start at Tynecastle? I think if he's fit, he starts. Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Derek, listen. See, when you wait for like Christmas and you get a PS5, right? You don't go, I'll just wait till Easter, do you, till I play this, right? I've been waiting for a right winger. Last time we had a decent right winger, I had here. So, get him played straight away. I don't care how fit he is. And by all accounts, he's made a decent first impression up at the training ground and things like that. So I'm excited about this boy. I'm kind of putting all my eggs in my basket for Tynecastle on Saturday. Please come and be our saviour kind of thing. But I reckon he'll be a level up. I'm hopeful that he'll be a level up. We need him to discover his kind of Holland 20 form, don't we, that season that got him the move to the Bundesliga. We need to give him that platform and hope that he flourishes and produces that again. So the caveat to that is obviously that. But if there's, if there's a possibility, get him in the team, start him at Tynecastle, gives everyone a lift, get the ball to him and just see what he can do. Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to see him start the game as well. The only thing, I did speak to an FC20 podcaster, Gus, who was great speaking about Vaclav Cerny. The only thing that sort of set an alarm bell off or two was that he did suffer a knee injury at the club. He was out for a wee while, but he says if he's fit, then he's a real asset. They actually bought him for, I think it was about €1 million from Utrecht, sold him for 8 million to Wolfsburg, and it never quite happened for him in Germany, but hopefully he can recapture his form at Rangers. And like you, Stevie, we've not seen a proper right winger for years. If you're going back, I know what I said before, I don't think Rangers have suitably replaced Daniel Candeias in the work rate down that right-hand side. But apart from that, you're thinking, Kanchelskis?
Yeah, it's certainly a long time because we always seem to have shoehorned people out there. There's always been a Reina or a Novo or somebody that have done well for the club, but not naturally kind of outside there. I was just laughing to myself because Gus was criticising and saying, oh, he's been injured, might not be this. I would have just said, wait till you see Sam Lammers, Gus. So there's your kind of equaliser, wait till you see this guy. But no, he'll probably turn into Ronaldinho out there,
Yeah, no.
But no, in all seriousness, it's been a long time, hasn't it? There needs to be that kind of natural kind of position to be filled. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Look, you get Sterling on that right side next to Cerny, and I think you could have an energetic, kind of mobile, fast kind of right side. Ridvan on the left next to Cortez, I think could work. We're relying a lot on Ridvan getting back to the kind of form after Christmas where we went on a very good run for 6-7 weeks. Football was good. Went to Easter Road won 3-0, beat Hearts 5-0, go to Kilmarnock and win, and then, you know, these boys both got injured and it tailed off dramatically. So you're looking for Redvan to recover that kind of form. And then you've got Hefty that can come in and kind of add a bit going forward and things like that as well. I think he'll be a weapon to use as games begin to close down. He's got a lot of work to do the other side potentially, but it's like a jigsaw, Derek, isn't it? At the moment, you've got bits that are okay and you can do things with. You know, you've got your shining light in the middle, who I think genuinely is Diamande. You put Barron next to him. You get your fullback positions are okay. Butland and goals, fine. You get Cortez, you get Cerny, and you put the wee bits in, and then you're looking for, right, here's my transfer window really kicking in. If we want to be where we need to be, those key little places, these key little bits of the jigsaw coming in will make all the difference. But I'm quite content with where we are at this minute in time. I would like to have been much forward. I like to have been all these jigsaw pieces in, absolutely. But we're just going to need to get through the next couple of weeks. I think Kiev is going to be really, really difficult.
So do I.
Really difficult, right? And that might not work out. And unfortunately for that, I think Clement will come in for a bit of criticism. But I'm of the opinion that, you know, just to go off on a slight tangent, I don't mean to. We've asked for this rebuild, right? And the manager sat down and done really well with what he had. And then it's hit the buffers. And he then has went to the board, as the board have now told us, and said that this rebuild is a huge rebuild and he needs to restructure everything. So he's got to basically where we thought we were. And if we're asking him to undertake that, and that requires a massive revamp of squad, kind of wages, the way the situation is and everything else, we cannot at this moment in time turn against what we're trying to do and get on the manager's back and things like that. I think we need to ride it out, and it's going to be difficult. You know, a victory at Tynecastle changes absolutely everything. It changes the landscape, it changes the mood, it changes the feeling amongst the support. So let's just get behind them for Saturday and hope that we can start off well. You start off strong and all of a sudden everything looks and feels a wee bit better. And then you've got a potentially difficult rest of the month, Kiev up first, but they just need to take it game by game, Tynecastle first, and then go with it. And that's where I am. I'm trying to be a wee bit... I've went on for ages on this show about a rebuild and a proper revamp, a proper wage restructuring, a proper, squad rebuild of everything. I'm halfway through getting it with some really big names, Lundstrom, Jack, Roof, Goldson, Lammers, all these big hitters, all these big wage guys are all gone. There'll be more to go. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to abandon it halfway through, Derek, as difficult as it is at the moment. So I'm looking forward to Saturday. I always look forward to seeing Rangers. I'm looking forward to seeing the season start again. And I'll be, right behind the boys, hopefully giving it everything on Saturday and get those 3 points and start well.
Yeah, let's hope so. Right, we'll wrap up there, folks. Just before we go, a big thank you to Bluebells Are Blue for his kind generosity once again. He's just gifted 10 Rangers Review memberships. That is absolutely fantastic, buddy. Thank you very much for doing so. JT gets in touch. Bluebells, send the club a few quid to buy a striker and a centre back if you've got some spare change lying about. But yeah, thank you for that. If you want to take up one of those memberships, then please do. You'll get 3 to 5 extra videos we put out every week on the Rangers Review Extra channel. I'll be on with Adam tomorrow. I know that some of you were asking for Adam to come back on. We'll do a Q&A tomorrow around about 12:30, 1 o'clock. I think we'll be on with that. So we hope you can join us for that. If there's any...
Who asked for Adam to come back on? He'll be telling us this in the group chat, won't he?
Request. He's on here, Stevie. I think he's... So for that person, whoever you are, then be safe in the knowledge that Adam will be back on tomorrow morning. We'll wrap up there. If there's any transfer news, folks, keep your eyes peeled on the social media channels on the website and on the YouTube channel as well. If you want to follow us on WhatsApp, you can keep up to date with all the breaking news there as well. The link is in the description below. Right, thank you all for watching. Enjoy your Wednesday, and we'll speak to you later. Bye for now.